To this hall, members of the East India Marine Society, founded in 1799, brought the art and cultural objects they saw and admired as they circled the globe in search of opportunity. These adventurers and entrepreneurs were among the first Americans to recognize the remarkable diversity of people in the world and the extraordinary objects of their creativity. Today, this room, with its grand proportions and mix of Federal period and Greek Revival architecture detail, is a reminder of the legacy left to us by those whose portraits line these walls. Merchants brought back new discoveries from places they traveled to and housed them at the museum. This wallpaper once lined the walls of Strathallan Castle in Scotland. The wallpaper shows east-west trading in Guangzhou or Canton, China. The buildings that line the coast are called hongs. These are the trade warehouses of Western countries. The flags represent the countries trading here. Behind the warehouses is the village, where artisans and craftspeople are selling their work. Trading does not take place within the village. As you can see, all the boats coming and leaving the trading warehouses are Chinese junks and sampans. This is because Western ships were not allowed to enter into trading warehouses. You can see the difference between the native people and the Westerners by the way they dress. The ivory tusk represents global cross-cultural exchange, depicting Chinese design motifs in everyday activities and spiritual life. This ivory tusk was given to an American merchant as a gift from the Chinese. Ivory tusk is indigenous to Africa, which shows how materials are transferred throughout the world. Elias Haskett Derby was a maritime merchant in Salem. He owned a fleet of merchant vessels called the East Indiamen. Derby owned the Grand Turk, which was the first ship to sail from Salem to Sumatra, China. Derby traded American ginseng for silk and tea. Derby was thought to be the first American millionaire. Derby Street is named after him in Salem. The Friendship ship, built in 1797, is the best representation of American ships engaged in the East Indies trade. It was used by the National Park Service to construct the full-scale ship replica that sits at Derby Wharf in Salem Harbor. This is a painting of trading at the Crown Shields Wharf in Salem, painted by George Ropes in 1806. This image shows the entire merchant enterprise of Salem's prominent Crown Shields family. This shows the thriving merchant economy of a new nation, freed from the British Crown as indicated by the American flags. These three houses were all built in different centuries, starting in the 17th century to the 19th century. The evolution of the houses show the growth of Salem and the economic wealth accumulated through the maritime trade. The first house built was the John Ward House. It was built in the 17th century and was owned by John Ward. This house shows late medieval architecture influenced by Britain. The second house is the Crown Shield Bentley, built in 1727. At the time this house was built, Salem had grown into a small city of 4,000, largely due to the impact of the global maritime trade. This house represents Georgian colonial features shown by the gabled roof, larger windows, and the symmetrical decorated front door. The house is called the Crown Shield Bentley because a family of sea captains, the Crown and Shield family, owned it. Later, Reverend William Bentley lived there, who was the pastor of Salem East Church. The third house is the Gardner Pingree House, built in 1806 by Samuel McIntyre, a renowned American architect. This house shows neoclassical design with Greek and Roman features. You can see this architecture through the brickwork, columns, keystones, and courses. This house was built for a wealthy sea merchant, John Gardner, and his wife, Sarah. By building this house, John Gardner was trying to show the community great wealth and global influence.
Crying on Sundays, not crying on Sundays.